Whether on-premise, hybrid or in the cloud, RCS gives broadcasters the tools and support to create, schedule, manage and deliver content with confidence. RCS is the trusted leader for audio professionals.
Today on the Quarter Hour, we remember a radio legend, Johnny Young.
I can't remember a time in my life when there wasn't music there. Dad would take me down to the Police Boys Club to learn boxing, and Mum would take me down to choir to learn singing.
3X1. And he is the real thing.
Come and see the real thing. Come and see the real thing. Come and see.
Hi, and welcome to the Quarter Hour Podcast. I'm your host, Liam Renton, and this week we are remembering the late Johnny Young. Now, we all remember the 18 years he spent as the host of Young Talent Time, but he also did many years on the radio at 3XY in the 60s, 6IX in Perth, and he was also on the mighty 2CH in Sydney. His program director was Mardi Cole, who joins us today to remember his time on the radio. Hello, Marty. How are you?
I'm good, Liam. How are you?
Really good. Did you grow up watching him or listening to him on the TV and or radio? Because you're a Melbourne gal. He was on the radio in Melbourne.
I grew up in country Victoria, so no, I didn't hear any Melbourne radio until I went there as an 18-year-old to work at Eon FM. That was many years ago. So no, I never heard Johnny on the radio when I was growing up, but definitely watched him was it Sunday night for Young Talent Time?
You know, I always get confused about that too, but I think I remember hearing once that they beat Hey Hey in the ratings. So they were a Saturday night, a juggernaut. They were an early Saturday and Hey Hey was a late Saturday night experience, yes.
That's right. Well, I always wanted to be Jane Scarley, one of the beautiful Young Talent Time members. So, yes, I watched Young Talent Time for years and years and years and loved Johnny on the show, of course.
He did a good stint on many radio stations. Where can you remember him working? He must have told us some stories over the years. What stations did he work at?
Well, the one I remember most is 6IX. Not that I actually heard him on there, but I would jump on to a logger just before I hired him and had a bit of a listen to him because we could stream 6IX and I could listen back to the shows that he was doing. And that's when we decided to poach him and ask him to come over to 2CH in Sydney.
Yeah, you hired him to work at 2CH. Tell us how that came about. What shift did you hire him for?
We hired him for Drive. We had Bob Rogers on mornings, 9 to noon, and John Singleton owned the station and he'd become quite involved in running the station again. He wanted it to turn back into this juggernaut that it always had been, but he just wanted a bit more life in it. He was injecting advertising, got a new jingle package, and he wanted somebody that was a bit more of a personality. And Johnny Young, his name came up and I said, why don't we try him? And we had a chat to him and yeah, that's how we got him.
What did you think listening to that logger? You're hearing a couple of breaks on 6IX. You're about to put him on the biggest radio market in Australia. What did you think of his radio work when you first heard it?
It was a different style to 2CH. Only it was still playing the classic hits, of course, but what the difference was, we were a bit more of a 2CH had to play the 10 to 12 music songs an hour. You could put the talk in amongst that, but we were still predominantly music. Whereas Johnny's show at 6IX was a bit looser. There was a bit more chat, and I definitely wanted to incorporate that at 2CH, but it was a juggle when he first came over because it wasn't his style. It's like, why do I have to, this is what I want to talk about. So, yeah, it took a bit to adjust, him and us.
What was it like being a program director to both Johnny Young and Bob Rogers, like icons?
Well, could you really be a program director to either of them? They had both been on air for years and years and years. They knew what they were doing. I mean, Bob, as soon as I heard Bob Rogers on air myself, I went, that's the kind of radio I want to do. You could play music, you could talk about the stars, give cooking tips, you could talk about the footy, you could throw in a bit of politics, you could tell jokes, and the most wonderful interviews he always did with people. I was always amazed at the things he could draw out of people when he did his interviews. So though you worked with him, you didn't really have to tell him what to do. Maybe we could try this segment, or how about this new song, or can I get you this person to be interviewed? So, Bob, you really worked with him. You didn't have to direct him.
Did you air check Johnny Young?
Yes, we did at the start. Yes. Simply because we wanted to get him into a style that was a bit more music friendly and short pieces of information that were entertaining, because whatever he did was entertaining, but you need to compress the stories sometimes, and then talk over the intro of a song and talk up to the vocals and that kind of thing, which it was just a different feel that he had when he came over. But what I did was, one of our producers or technical whiz-bang guys behind the scenes at 2CH, his name was Matt Party, he put his hand up. He said, why don't I go in the studio and produce Johnny? Because we were saying, Johnny, you got to panel everything. And as it was hard for him to get across that, as for anybody that hasn't done that for a while. So Matt came in and he directed him, helped him get across, the flow of the music, how to put the content inside the music and still produce a magnificent show. I mean, he was so entertaining. But that was the key. It was putting Matt Party in with Johnny Young, and they just made a great team, and it came out to be a great show.
We're pretty good at finding old audio on this podcast. It's near impossible to find a Johnny Young air check. We've had a few of us on the case trying to find stuff. So describe to us what his radio style was like. What would he do? What would he put in his show?
He was happy and chatty, just as you remembered when he was talking to the people on Young Talent Time. But he could tell great stories about the songs, the people behind the songs, how the songs came about. And he was relatable, as in he'd talk about the times that those songs became hits and became part of our lives, which was just amazing. It brought the songs to life. It was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That was the time when, I don't know, whatever it was. He could always relate it back to the people and the times that were going on at that time. But he was great fun too, talking to listeners on the air. He'd really bring out the best in them.
Did he have any signature moments? Like, were there any things that were very Johnny Young on the radio?
His sign-off, he'd always finish off with All My Lovin'. Play the Beatles, All My Lovin'.
On the radio as well as on the TV?
Yeah, just a little bit of All My Lovin'. He'd always finish off his shows with that.
And I'll send all my loving to you.
Would he play on the fact that he was Johnny Young from the TV? I mean, he was on the radio with you probably 20 years after Young Talent Time had finished. So was he still like big in terms of a massive entertainment name?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, walked along the street with him or around the office with him. People would always stop and want to have a chat to him. And whenever we took him to, we did quite a few, listener events, outside broadcasts and that kind of thing. They just loved him. It was so great to have him. He'd chat to people and they just felt like they knew him and they all loved him. So it was great to have him out there as part of the front of 2CH, fronting 2CH.
Now, did he do much prep or did he just rely on natural talent and being a great storyteller?
Oh, he had a lot of prep. He'd have it all written down. He had a lot of stuff written down. Same with Bob Rogers. Bob Rogers would have reams and reams of pages of paper. But no, Johnny was always prepped, definitely.
Did he bring a lot of his famous mates on the show? All of a sudden you're, making a cup of tea and you hear Russell Morris just jumping on for a bit of a hello?
Well, I have to say we had a lot of those people would pop into 2CH anyway because they were there to see Bob Rogers. I mean, Michael Bublé, we'd have Carly Simon, all sorts of international stars would come into the halls of 2CH. It was great. But yeah, Johnny did have a few people in. I remember Tina Arena was there. Russell Morris, yes, definitely. Ronnie Burns. There was a lot of them, yeah.
Can you remember any specific air check or a specific note or any pushback you ever got? Did he ever have any funny comments in an air check you might have done for him?
Look, I didn't sit down and air check him as you might, a new announcer, play this bit back and say, why did you say that? Why did you do that? There were suggestions I would make to him. And one time I walked into the studio and I just knew this was not the time to say anything. He knew what I was going to say. So I turned and walked out. And we just kind of left it like that.
He knew, you knew, nothing needed to be said.
That's right. Get out of my studio.
When you're managing talent like Johnny Young or Bob Rogers, is there a moment where they're bigger than the radio station? Like they're huge names, especially in radio, in entertainment. Do they become bigger than the station?
I think so. Bob Rogers always was bigger than 2CH. 2CH to people was Bob Rogers. That was Bob. The station was Bob. That's all there was. And Johnny probably, I don't know if he was with us long enough to become bigger than the station, although his presence on the station was, it was felt when he was there. To have him and Bob there, it really did make the place come alive.
What's your favourite Johnny Young radio memory?
The biggest memory of Johnny was when he was in front of the public representing 2CH. We had quite a few. There was an event on a boat that we did and sailing on Sydney Harbour. And then there was another big event that was in conjunction with 2GB and some of the stars of 2GB. And just to see him interacting with them and them with him, they're the best memories I have, I think, of Johnny Young.
What do you think his radio career will be remembered for?
I think the love and the joy of music that he gave to people. You could hear it in his voice. He loved music, he loved people, and he loved telling the stories about music and how it connected to people. I think that's what people will remember, and how genuine he was.
I got a similar memory of painting my study in Brisbane, listening to Johnny Young it was Magic, the old 4BH back in the day, and I could not turn him off. It was like a 6-hour paint job, and Johnny was doing some long show, and just the warmth and connection. And I'm there back in 1988 thinking of this is Young Talent Time guy, but on the radio, he really connected. I felt like he was talking just to me while I was painting my study. Unbelievable.
It's such an art, and you don't hear it. You don't know that you're not hearing it until you hear it. You go, oh, wow, that's how you do it. And Johnny had it. Bob Rogers had it. As soon as you heard them, you just go, yep, they're really talking to me. They're connecting.
Nice to remember him today. Thank you, Marty, for joining us on the quarter hour. We're going to get you back on one day because you dropped a little nugget at the start. I did hear that I was on Eon FM. There's a story there that we probably all want to hear, but really nice to have you on the show today. Thank you for sharing your Johnny Young memories.
All right, lovely to talk. Thanks, Liam.
We're back in just a minute.
Great technology is only as powerful as the people using it. RCS Academy offers self-paced online training and certification across Zeta, G-Selector and Acquirer. So whether you're developing new skills, training your team, or looking to get more from your RCS products, RCS Academy provides practical, industry-focused learning that you can complete at your own pace. To learn more, contact RCS today.
So there you have it. As we remember Johnny Young's radio career, we end today with a song that you will know him best of all for. For some of you, this will mean a lot. For others, maybe not. But if you know, you know. Thank you, Johnny Young.
And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day, and I'll send